Upgrade. She texted after kicking me out on my birthday and moving her new man in. So I vanished. Now he's gone, and she's texting me like nothing happened. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Hey Reddit, I've been lurking here for a while, reading all these wild stories about betrayals and comeuppances, and I never thought I'd have one of my own to share. But here I am, a year after the fact, finally ready to get this off my chest. It's a long one, but if you've ever been blindsided by someone you trusted, stick around. Let me set the scene. I'm Alex, just turned 31 now, but this all went down on my 30th birthday. I was in a relationship with Jenna for 5 years. We met in college, back when she was this free-spirited art major and I was grinding through my computer science degree. I fell hard for her energy, her laugh, the way she could turn a crappy day into something fun with just a silly drawing or a spontaneous road trip. But looking back, I see now how one-sided it was. I was the steady one, the guy who paid the rent on time, cooked dinners after long shifts, and supported her through 3 different job changes because she needed to find her passion. Our apartment was in a mid-sized city, nothing fancy, but I made it home. I worked as a software developer for a decent tech firm, pulling in enough to cover most of our bills while she bounced between barista gigs and freelance graphic design. I didn't mind. Hell, I loved seeing her excited about a new project. I even turned down a promotion last year that would have meant relocating because she said she couldn't leave her creative community here. We're building something together, Alex, she'd say, and I believed it. I planned vacations around her schedule, surprised her with art supplies on random Tuesdays, and yeah, I was already thinking about rings. Not that I ever brought it up. I didn't want to pressure her. But things had been off for months. She started staying out late with friends from work, coming home smelling like cheap cologne and excuses. Her phone was always face down, and she'd snap if I glanced at it. Online, she'd post these vague stories about needing more excitement in life, or memes about trading up for better vibes. I chalked it up to stress. Her latest job at a coffee shop was draining her, and I tried to be understanding. I'd suggest date nights, but she'd brush them off. You're so predictable, Alex. It's sweet, but sometimes I need a spark. Her words cut, but I swallowed them, thinking I could fix it by being better. Flashback to a couple weeks before my birthday. We're in bed, and she's scrolling through her feed. She shows me a picture of some ripped guy at the gym, laughing. See, that's the kind of energy I crave. Adventure, you know? I laughed it off, but inside it gnawed at me. Had I become boring? I started hitting the gym more, planning a surprise for my birthday, a weekend getaway to this cabin she'd always talked about. I even booked it secretly, thinking it'd reignite things. Little did I know, she had her own plans. The day of my 30th, I'm at work, buried in code for a big project. It's a Friday, and I'm wrapping up early to come home and pack for the trip. Around noon, my phone buzzes. It's a text from Jenna, a photo. I open it, and my stomach drops. It's our bedroom, my bedroom, technically, since I paid the lease. But there she is, lounging on the bed with this smug grin, arm around some tan dude with a backwards hat and a chain necklace. He's got his hand on her thigh, and they're both giving the camera this victorious look. Caption, upgrade, upgrade. I stared at the screen, heart hammering. What the hell? Another text follows. Your stuff's outside. Keys under the mat if you need it, but Chad's moving in tonight. Happy birthday, I guess. We're done. I couldn't breathe. My coworkers noticed me zoning out, asked if I was okay. I mumbled something about lunch and bolted to my car. Driving home, my mind raced. Chad. I vaguely remembered her mentioning a trainer from her gym, some guy who pushed her limits. But this? Kicking me out on my birthday, putting my clothes, books, even my laptop bag on the curb like trash? I pulled up to the apartment, and sure enough, there it was, a pile of my life, exposed to the neighbors. A couple boxes, garbage bags stuffed with shirts, my gaming console teetering on top. Rain was starting to sprinkle, soaking everything. I sat in the car for what felt like hours, but it was probably minutes. Confusion hit first. How could she do this? Then the anger bubbled, but I pushed it down. No, I wasn't going to storm in there screaming. That's not me. I loaded my stuff into the trunk, grabbed the key from under the mat without knocking, and drove to a buddy's place. He let me crash on his couch that night. I didn't cry, didn't rant. Just sat there, staring at the ceiling, replaying every sacrifice I'd made. The unfairness of it all sank in like lead. 5 years, and I'm curbside trash on my milestone birthday? While she's playing house with her upgrade? That night, my phone blew up with messages from mutual friends, some shocked, others awkwardly neutral. But from her? Nothing more after the photo. I didn't respond to anyone. Instead, I turned it off and tried to sleep. The next morning, reality hit harder. I had to figure out logistics. The lease was in my name, but she'd changed the locks already, I found out later. I could have fought it, called the cops even, but what was the point? Dragging it out would just give her more drama to feed on. A few days later, I mustered the nerve to reach out. Not to beg, God, no, but to understand. Maybe get some closure. I texted her. We need to talk about the apartment and our stuff. She called me back almost immediately, like she'd been waiting. Hey, Alex, she said, her voice light, almost cheerful. Figured you'd crawl out eventually. What's up? I gripped the phone, keeping my tone even. Jenna, what the hell? You kick me out on my birthday, move some guy in, and text me a picture like it's a joke? After everything. She laughed, actually laughed. Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. It's not like this came out of nowhere. You've been stale, you know? Chad gets me. He's exciting, pushes me to be better. You were just comfortable, like a safety blanket I outgrew. Stale? I supported you through everything. Your jobs, your art shows, even when you blew our savings on that inspirational trip last year. And this is how you end it? By humiliating me. See, that's your problem. She snapped back, her smugness creeping in. Always playing the martyr. I did this, I did that. But did you ever make me feel alive? Chad does. He's got plans, ambition. Not just coding away in some cubicle. This is an upgrade for me, Alex. You should be happy. I'm finally chasing what I want. Chasing what you want. You mean cheating behind my back? How long has this been going on? Does it matter? A few months. But it's not cheating if the relationship was already dead. You were holding me back with your stability. I need passion, adventure. Chad takes me rock climbing, parties till dawn. What did you offer? Netflix and takeout. I paused, the twisted logic hitting me like a slap. She was rewriting our history, making me the villain for being reliable. So that's it. You discard me like yesterday's news, put my life on the street, and call it an upgrade. Pretty much, she said, dismissive. Look, I'll Venmo you for your half of the stuff I kept. But the apartment? Chad and I are good here. You can crash with friends, or whatever. Move on, Alex. Find someone as boring as you. The call ended with her hanging up, not even a goodbye. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling the weight of her cruelty. No remorse, just justifications piled on hypocrisy. She'd manipulated the narrative to make herself the hero, me the footnote. But in that moment, something clicked. I wasn't going to argue or plead. Why fight for someone who saw me as disposable? Instead, I detached. I called my lawyer friend for advice on the lease. Turns out, since it was in my name, I could evict them if I wanted, but I didn't. Let her deal with the fallout later. I found a cheap studio apartment across town, transferred my work files remotely, and started rebuilding. I blocked her on everything temporarily, not out of spite, but to protect my peace. No social media stalking, no drunk texts. Just silence. The first few weeks were rough. I'd wake up replaying her words, questioning if I really was stale. The confusion lingered. How had I missed the signs? The emotional abandonment had been subtle. Fewer touches, more criticisms. Her eyes lighting up for her phone, but not for me. I threw myself into work, landed that promotion I'd skipped before, better pay, remote options. I hit the gym hard, not for revenge body bullshit, but because moving felt better than sitting with the pain. Therapy helped too. A couple sessions unpacked how I'd sacrificed too much, ignored red flags. Months passed in that quiet grind. I reconnected with old friends, one she'd called lame and pulled me away from. I even started dating casually, nothing serious, but it reminded me I wasn't broken. The unfairness still stung sometimes, especially on quiet nights, but it faded into clarity. She hadn't just cheated, she disrespected me at my core. And by vanishing, I took back control. Little did I know, her upgrade was about to downgrade spectacularly. But that's for later. For now, I'll say this. Walking away without a fight was the hardest thing I've done, but it set me free. About 4 months after I vanished, the updates started trickling in from mutual friends, the ones who hadn't picked sides yet. At first, I didn't want to hear it. I'd unblocked her but set everything to silent, focusing on my new routine. But curiosity got the better of me when my buddy Mike texted, "Dude, you dodged a bullet. Chad's a psycho." Turns out, the upgrade wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Chad, the gym rat with the flashy car and endless party invites, had a dark side. He'd convinced Jenna to quit her barista job to pursue her art full-time, but really, it was so she could tag along on his gigs as a freelance trainer. She dipped into her savings, our shared savings, technically, though I'd let that go, to fund their adventures. Rock climbing trips turned into arguments, parties into blackouts. Friends saw the bruises first. Just a climbing accident, she'd say, but the stories didn't add up. Then the cheating came out. Chad wasn't just exciting, he was a serial player. Jenna caught him with one of his clients in my apartment. A screaming match ensued, and he bailed, leaving her with the lease she couldn't afford alone. The landlord, who I'd always paid on time, wasn't sympathetic. Eviction notice followed. Her creative community scattered. Turns out, they were more Chad's crowd than hers. Mutual friends stopped defending her when the full story leaked. How she'd badmouthed me behind my back for months, calling me the ex who couldn't keep up. Her reputation tanked. She ended up crashing with her sister, isolated and scraping by on odd gigs. The irony hit me like a slow burn. She dumped me for being stale, but now she was the one unraveling, broke, alone, realizing too late that excitement without stability is just chaos. I didn't gloat. I just kept building. My promotion led to a team lead role, more money, even a company trip overseas. I bought a small condo, nothing flashy, but mine. The gym became a habit, and I met people. Real ones, not the superficial types she chased. The silence from my end must have eaten at her, because that's when the reaches started. It began innocently enough, about 6 months post-betrayal. A text popped up one evening while I was cooking dinner. "Hey Alex, how have you been? Been thinking about you lately." I stared at it, fork in hand. No apology, just casual, like we'd grabbed coffee last week. I didn't respond. A day later. "I know things ended badly, but can we talk? Chad and I are over. It was a mistake." Still nothing from me. Then the calls came, voicemails piling up. I listened to one. "Alex, pick up. Please. I'm sorry about the birthday thing. I was in a bad place, stressed from work." Chad seemed like an escape, but he wasn't real. "You were. We had something good. Remember those road trips? Let's meet up, hash it out." Her voice cracked a bit, but it was still laced with that entitlement, like I owed her closure. I deleted it. The attempts escalated. She showed up at my old office. Thank God I'd switched to remote most days. A coworker tipped me off. "Some girl was asking for you, looked rough." Then her family got involved, just like I'd half expected. Her mom called from a number I didn't recognize. "Alex, this is Karen. Jenna's been a mess since you left. You can't just ghost her like this, it's cruel. She knows she screwed up, but you two were practically married. Family sticks together. Come over for dinner, talk it out." I kept calm. "Karen, with all due respect, Jenna made her choice. She kicked me out, humiliated me. I'm not family anymore." She huffed. "Oh, grow up. Everyone makes mistakes. Chad was a phase. She's back to her senses now. You're being petty, holding a grudge like this. What kind of man abandons a woman in need?" The toxicity dripped through the phone, blaming me, minimizing her actions. It mirrored Jenna's twisted logic perfectly. I ended the call and blocked the number. Her sister texted next, more aggressive. "You think you're better now? Jenna told me everything. You were controlling, that's why she left. But she's willing to forgive you. Don't blow it." "Forgive me? For what? Being loyal?" I almost laughed. The hypocrisy was staggering. Her camp rewriting history again, painting me as the villain for not crawling back. Jenna's messages turned desperate after that. "Alex, please. I'm staying with my sister, but it's temporary. I lost the apartment, evicted last week. Chad took half my stuff and ghosted. I have nothing. Can I crash with you? Just for a bit? I'll make it up to you." No response. Then anger crept in. "Fine. Ignore me. You're heartless, you know that? After all I put up with, your boring routines, your safe little life. I gave you 5 years. And this is how you repay me? By vanishing like a coward. Her true colors shone through, the smugness flipping to rage when she didn't get her way. Friends who'd stayed neutral started pulling away from her too, texting me apologies. We didn't know the full story. She's spiraling. It felt like justice, earned through her own actions, not mine. By the 9-month mark, I'd fully moved on. Work was thriving. I'd led a project that got company-wide praise, even snagged a bonus. Personally, I'd started seeing Lisa, a colleague from a partner firm. She was kind, ambitious, and actually appreciated stability. No drama, just mutual respect. We kept it low-key, but it felt right. I'd evolved from that confused guy on the couch to someone clear-headed, free. The final nail came at our mutual friend Mike's wedding, about a year after the betrayal. I'd RSVP'd yes, knowing she might be there, but I wasn't hiding. It was a garden venue, elegant and packed. I arrived with Lisa on my arm, feeling good in my tailored suit. Gym gains showing, confidence real. Jenna spotted me during cocktail hour. She looked worn, hair messy, dress ill-fitting, like she'd lost weight from stress. She approached, eyes wide, a mix of hope and desperation. "Alex," she said, voice shaky. "You're here. God, you look different. Better. Can we talk?" Privately. I nodded politely, stepping aside with her, Lisa giving me space but staying in view. "What is it, Jenna?" She fidgeted. "I've been trying to reach you. I messed up big time. Chad was abusive, cheated, left me broke. I'm starting over, but it's hard. Seeing you now, I realize what I lost. We were good together. Let's try again. I'll change, I promise. No more chasing excitement. You were my rock." Her words hung there, pleading, but they bounced off me. No pull, no sympathy. I met her eyes, calm and firm. "Jenna, you called Chad an upgrade. Said I was stale, holding you back. You humiliated me on my birthday, discarded everything we built. And now, because it blew up in your face, you want back in." She blinked, tears welling. "I was wrong. Immature. But people deserve second chances. Don't you miss us?" I shook my head. "No. I've upgraded too. My career, my life, my peace. You're not part of that anymore. You're irrelevant to who I am now. But we had history," she pressed, voice rising. "You can't just erase me. History's just that, past. I learned from it, moved on. You should too." She stepped closer, angry now. "You're cold. Acting like you're above me. Who's that girl? Your rebound? She won't last." I glanced at Lisa, smiling back at me, then turned to Jenna. "She's real. Unlike what we had. Goodbye, Jenna." I walked away, rejoining the party. She lingered, fuming, but mutual friends gave her the cold shoulder. Later, Mike pulled me aside. She left early, crying. "You handled that like a boss." That night, back home with Lisa, I blocked Jenna for good. No more texts, no loose ends. The reversal was complete. I'd thrived while she'd crumbled. It wasn't revenge, it was growth. If there's a moral here, Reddit, it's this. Sometimes, the best response to betrayal is silence. Let karma do the talking. You come out stronger, and they learn the hard way what they lost. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.